Good morning, Risk Raiders, Red Raiders, anyone who's a fan of us or
Look,
the
I got him. I
Texas
got him right
Tech,
there.
or
Got him on the finger.
you got the little guy back
I
there. I
got the
didn't
little
even notice
guy.
that.
I
Has that
like
always
that.
been there?
Always been there. You got to pay attention. And then I got John Wayne over here.
I didn't. Ooh, I want that.
Okay, well, we'll raffle it off someday.
No, you need to sell that to me.
I
Where'd
don't
you
know if I
get
could. I
that?
gave it to Johnny for one of his birthday presents, and he actually left it to me.
Man, okay,
I
I
was a
wish you
big
left
Duke
that to
fan.
me. I've still got the tally left to me that I keep in my car all the time. I've told you that story before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Golf
This is
tally
going to
gave
be a
me like
great
20
show.
years ago.
This
It's
is
my
going to
most
be
sacred object.
Do you know how great this show is? Because we're already deterred, which means that for the listeners, it's going to be fantastic. Because you know me, if I got a toy going, we're going to talk about that. We got John Wayne. That's going to come up again. This is
Yeah,
welcome to Risk Raider Land, everybody.
yeah. Welcome. I can't take my eyes off that John Wayne thing. Okay, let
I
me
know
tell you
you can't
something. The next time
unsee
I
it now,
come up
can you?
there, that thing's coming home with me. You may not even know it till you're gonna be like, "Where'd that thing go?"
It could.
And
It could. But see, if my big head, look at the statue that's actually being hidden.
what is that?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
bronze thing. It's really a good looking deal. It's better in person.
I need to do some shopping in your office.
There you go. There you go. You got to make it to
Clearly.
the studio. It's going to cost you something, though. It always costs something to walk into a Risk Raider
Always
studio.
under the trade.
Well, hey, listen, we are glad everybody joined us this Friday. Happy Friday to you, your family. This is going to be a great day on Risk Raiders. Brent, we get to do something. We're kind of getting back into the regular shows. You know, we got to teach y'all a little bit about Texas Tech, tell you a lot about CAA. Go back and watch those shows. But we're back on our regular deal today to help you and your family, businesses, everybody who's going to deal with certain risk in life. And, you know, today we're going to give you some of our advice. Well, not legal
Not
advice.
really advice.
Wisdom. We're going to give you some wisdom and some ideas today. We're going to be talking about working with and that whole challenge of taking care of elderly parents or elderly family members. It's just a part of life. So we're going to move into that today and talk about some of the things you guys need to pay attention to. Now, granted, we're not going to be giving you professional advice. We're not going to be giving you insurance, legal, or accounting professional advice, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to need to get that sort of advice from your own people, especially when you're working in this world, because you're going to need some legal advice. You're going to need some insurance advice,
Absolutely.
accounting advice too. So
Actual advice.
yeah, but you know, it's a great thing. It's a great honor to be able to take care of an elderly parent. There's a lot of people that don't get to do it because, you know, their parents have
Yeah.
gone, you know, and so we look at this show as a positive show. We look at it as an exciting show, and we hope that we can help make this experience, even though it's not going to be really always easy, but maybe we can make it easier. And so just kind of give you some of the ideas and the worlds that we're here. What do you think about it, Brent?
Yeah, it's a challenging thing that you have to do when you go into this, and you have to go into the right mindset. Obviously, like you say, you got to be positive about it. It's an opportunity to return service to your parents or whomever else you're helping out with, because you most certainly they took care of you, and now it's time and you got to ease into it. That's the thing you got to understand, is that you can't just jump in on a Tuesday and say, I'm taking over, your everything. That doesn't work like that. You gotta ease into the whole thing about the driving and their finances and their living situation at home. But you gotta start early. Don't wait. Don't wait too long. Man, when they're in their late 50s, early 60s, you need to start kind of easing into that role of helping out.
Are you talking to me now? I feel like the show now is something I need to pay attention for. I need to get my kids on.
My kids are already like, "Oh, Dad, hello. We're taking your car away."
I'm like, where are my
"Nah."
keys? And they're like,
Yeah, I know, but I'm always like, "I have extras you don't
yeah,
know about."
go ahead, Waldo. And then we're going to give some of you who are in our stage how to avoid your children during this stage, because you may have kids who try to implement this crap too early. That happens too, know. People start going, oh, Dad can't. Oh, Dad couldn't find his keys. Well, they're in your pocket, son. And I'm not a ventriloquist, so don't act like, Dad doesn't know what he's doing. But, and that's the thing too, Brent. I like that, because we do have to plan, because, my family situation, we had a couple of times where we had events that happened and then bam, we're dealing with it, I'm sometimes world happens, an injury happens, a medical thing happens, and all of a sudden you're going to have to kind of have some decisions. And we can't stop all that, and that's normal. But today's show, we're going to try to give you some basis to start thinking about if your parents are approaching that, or if you're even approaching those ages.
Right, it could be for you.
Yeah, it can be for you. And so, I think the thing is, and we're kind of take this into kind of stair stepping things. We're going to kind of talk about, let's start talking about what do we need to do at home. I'm even in my later 50s, and you're in your 60s. You're much older than I am, tremendously older, even though I look, I don't know, much older than you. I don't know how you look so young. It's really kind of scary, actually.
Well, there is a secret to it, but I can't tell.
It's the white burgundy.
It's the fountain of youth. You've revealed it.
I had to. Don Julio does not provide the fountain of
No,
youth. I'm
no.
just saying, but we are good friends. And maybe some of this home safety stuff is good for us right now if we now that we think about it. So
Yeah.
let's say that, we're getting older, or you have a parent that's getting older, still capable of doing pretty much everything, but maybe, there's some mobility things that are starting. If we're at home, what are some things we need to start thinking about at home?
I always joke that the way you're going to get it is a fall, right?
That's not a joke. I think
Directly
it's true.
or indirectly. You're
Yeah.
either going to fall and break your hip, and then you're going to become immobile, and that's going to get you, or you're just going to fall, and that's the end, or fall in front of a bus.
And
But
again, this is a happy show.
yeah, it's a happy shit.
So far, Brett has killed everybody off with one fall.
Stairs at home, make sure those things are like we're having a debate at our house now because I want to put carpeting on the stairs and my wife does not want to. And I'm like, but if we fall on the stairs, it'd be better if they were carpeted. I'm just saying.
Make them rubber. That way you just bounce
Take it
back
down.
out.
I was trying to think if you could invent something where, like, if someone's falling, a parachute would come out or a net to
The
catch
net.
you.
I think the net at the bottom is a
Yeah,
great
a
idea.
net. Like, anytime it senses acceleration past a certain point, the net comes out.
Yeah, and then you have that background applause like a he made it. You just jump up. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
use it all the time now.
Yeah. I
Or put
like
in a
falling into
pole.
that.
I thought a fireman's pole until you can't. I thought it was great until I had the arthritis and then I can't grip the pole. That would end that really quick. But we don't want to put in fireman's poles. But
Not yet.
I think falling is a number one concern. So,
Absolutely.
and really you just got to start looking at your house. It's these damn throw rugs.
You read my mind. I was just going to say, man, if you're over at your parents' house and they've got too many rugs and they're all wrinkled up and catching, you need to say, look, man, these have got to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're killers for anybody in general.
They are.
I mean, I've damn near died on them our whole lives and they look great and all that. But as you do start, if you do, it's just one of those catches. And it's almost like sometimes a fall in the house happens on something that's been there forever. So you can't say it's new, it's whatever. It just happens. You don't lift your leg up. You don't do that. So I think fall hazards are one of the first things you start looking for. I think that those are going to be really important, and just go around the house, go around the outside of the house. It's easy to do. You probably should do it at any age, let's be honest. But as we are getting older, you're going to have to do that, especially if you move into some of these other stages where other people might be coming in your house. And so you take care of that stuff. And here's the thing that's a hard one for folks, the driving. Yeah. And you've already said your kids are trying to get you off.
Yeah, they're trying to take my car away now. And they probably should. I mean, honestly, they're not wrong, but they're not getting it. But yeah, man, the car is a difficult subject. I mean, nobody wants to give up their car because, when your car's gone, you're not independent anymore. Then you're dependent on people coming to get you. And I think, older folks should embrace the idea of Lyft and Uber, learn to use it because that's how you maintain your independence without having to have a car. And at some point, especially if you live like where I'm in Houston, man, let me tell you what, driving for an older person here is not a good idea.
That'd be hard for anybody. I mean, these metropolitan cities they're phenomenal. So you're right. And the older we get, reaction time, eyesight, it's just a natural thing. It gets harder.
Well, a lot of fraudsters use accidents as a way to trap people and they'll bump into you to get you out of the car so they can rob you. I mean, there's lots of things that are happening that are really unfortunate. You got to watch out for. And I think driving is a thing. And, get in the car, if it's time to take the car away, man, there's no right way to do it, honestly. There's either trickery or you can disable the vehicle and some of those things. But, older people are pretty wily. They'll figure it out. They're like, they thought they took the battery out of my car, but I got another one.
Yeah. Well, and on the insurance side of things, it's a hard thing.
Oh, man.
You can't just go in there and start saying a driver anymore, not any, I mean, it starts getting to where, it's going to have to be a discussion.
Yeah,
And, I thought about it, before you even get to that point, I think if you're, if you're going to end up being a caregiver, you got to watch to kind of see, you look around. If you see a lot of dents showing up on a parent's car and
they're not gonna tell you.
yeah, and they don't know, or this funny thing. My dad ended up getting dementia, and it happened over a very long period of time. But even we had all noticed that my dad started driving at the speed of smell. Like it was like we didn't really know it. And I laugh about it because I love him. He wasn't cause an accident, but he just naturally started slowing down.
Right.
I mean, Amy and him were going on an account, Plainview, which is like about an hour away. And when they were an hour and a half and they still weren't there, Amy was like,
Dude.
have you talked to him? And I'm like, I don't want to talk.
I don't want to.
I mean, it was interstate driving. I mean, he's looking around. He's having a good time, but I mean, he's going 40, and it's just
Everybody's going 80.
and and he wasn't like that before, and it wasn't necessarily dementia, but it's just getting older, and
Yeah.
it just happens. It's
Well,
going to
them.
happen to all of us. But you, as a potential caregiver or a family member, you do start watching that, because then those are things, because he was in a good state, and he and I would still talk. We talked about it some, and we were able to have a good conversation about it. Like, hey, maybe not on the interstates. Let's talk about some route driving, and it's not fun.
No, it's not a fun subject.
But if you try to handle it in the right way, and you don't look at it like it's a burden to you, you look at, because you're really trying to protect them. And honestly, folks, you have a duty, because
You have a
if
duty.
it causes an accident, and if it causes problems just like any other accident, I mean, it can be really bad and
Bad.
unfortunate.
You don't want them to hurt somebody else's kid, or
And they don't either,
they don't either, but they don't know any better. And we see it as agents. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
We'll have a client that we've had for a long time, and all of a sudden they start having, 2 or 3 claims a year, and you're like, hey man, something's going on. Sometimes you talk to the family and you're like, hey, I think your dad's kind of there. I mean, y'all probably don't know, but he's had 5 or 6 incidents in the last couple of years, and nothing serious. But don't wait until something serious happens. That's what we see a lot. People don't do anything until they have a bad accident. Don't wait. If they start having the little bumps and fender benders, it's time to have the conversation.
Yeah, you put them on a performance improvement plan, and that means we've got to start slower and narrowing this window down, because it's just like any other accident. It's just like kind of when you had your kids getting on your policy, the dings turn into a bam,
Yeah.
And this is not, oh, we want to sell you insurance and all that stuff. No, we're not doing that on this show. But the reality is that becomes expensive. It becomes dangerous for the public and for your loved one. And it's just the thing. It's just a thing you're going to have to talk about. And so you have to kind of, can't tell you where the marker is, Brent. I can't go, this is when you pull it. But and everybody you'll know when it's time, but you need to pay attention.
When you start worrying about it, it's time. Like, if
Yeah,
you're
that's
like,
a good
I don't know,
point.
Dad's not driving too good. But I'll tell you now, I don't know if you still can. You used to. You could send a note to the DPS and say this person's driving's impaired, and they would send them a letter and say you need to be retested or something like that. I need to check on that.
Well,
I
there
don't know if
might
you
be
can still
things,
do
if
it.
it's a problem that you're having and it's a serious issue and it's being fought off, that's a good idea, is to contact the Department of Motor Vehicles or the DPS or your
DPS.
state, whatever, and tell them your concerns and approach it that way. Hopefully you don't have to go that route, but sometimes you do, and it's a public safety issue. It's not an issue of, trying to embarrass
No.
or upset a family member. And that's the thing, is communication within families is very important on this issue. Don't try to be the outside family member. They're like, dad can handle it, when everybody else is going, dad can't handle it.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy, because that's a problem for everybody. So you're going to have to kind of pull your crap together in your brain, and your family has to come together and try to deal with these things. So go ahead, Brent.
Well, I was just going to say, people are reluctant to take the car because then they know they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to drive
That's
them
right.
around and make arrangements. But don't be responsible about it.
That's right. You're going to have to. Guess what? You're going to have to either drive, or you're going to have to provide transportation. That's just part of it. So you might as well suck it up, Buttercup, because that's life. That's just the
Yeah,
way it's
it's
going to
not
be.
free,
That's
but
a,
you
that's
gotta
the
do
risk
it.
rater approach. And if you want to send us a comment, I'll delete it. So here's the thing.
Love that.
Yeah. Delete. Or you may get a comment back like, there we go. That's what you'll get. So anyway, here we go. So we've got the job and got the in-home. Now there might be a time, you get to the point where it's time for people that we might have to bring some assistance into the house. Whatever reason, mobility, health, whatever reason, people from the outside other than family members maybe need to start coming into the house to give either some, whether it's hygiene, medical, therapy, all those good things. And that opens the door.
Oh, man.
It opens the door to some exposures that are manageable, but you've got to think about this and address this.
Gotta deal with it.
You
You
got to
can't
deal
just
with it. So
you just start bringing people in willy-nilly. That's not
yeah,
like that.
let's just say that it's me, Brent. I fell. I didn't break my hip, broke my leg, but then we're gonna have to bring people into the house, bathing issues, therapy issues, stuff. What would you tell my wife, my family? What would you tell them I need to start thinking about from a risk management, protecting our family situation?
Well, I would say if it's temporary, like, you're not old enough for it to be permanent. So if you fall and break your leg, your wife's going to have to get some care for you, but that's temporary. That's
Right.
one thing. And I would recommend highly going out and hiring a firm that will place these people in the home if it's temporary because they've got insurance. They're going to have gone through the background checks on these people. They've got liability protection and
And
that
how do we know that? What should we ask for from these people to prove that they have insurance?
a certificate of insurance, which is your friend. Anytime you're dealing with contractors, you want to see it, and don't let them on the premise until you've seen it. And don't if they pull a copy out of their briefcase, no, it's got to come from the agent.
It comes from the agent, and a lot of people out there in the commercial world know a lot about certificates of insurance, but a lot of families don't. And it's a form that an agent can provide for anybody outside that shows their customers insurance limits, policy numbers, and effective dates. And I know none of you are really insurance people, but I'm going to tell you what, you have an agent somewhere for home and auto. So you get a certificate from that
Send it to
vendor.
'em.
And then if you don't understand it, you either ask your attorney about it or you take it to your agent and go, hey, what is this? I got to know I needed to get this. What do I need to look at?
Is it any good? Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, if I think asking for certificates of insurance is such a good first conversation when you're gonna hire any contractor to work in your home or do
Right.
work on your home. Have the certificate of insurance conversation because that is gonna smoke out a bad actor. If that guy gets squirrely and is like, "Oh, well, we don't have we have I've got a certificate in my car," and if
No.
that guy says, "Oh, we don't do that. Nothing's ever happened." Wrong guy.
And here's the problem with some home health stuff. If they're not with an agency and they're not with a company and they're on their own, it's an unknown, folks. Now, I'm not
Totally.
telling you everybody who's out there on their own is bad. That is not true. Because what you run into is you run into expensive. It is expensive. And I'm not a health insurance guy. I don't know anything about Medicare, but I know that there's these things, some are covered, some aren't. That's for those other people. But it's expensive. And so there's a corner cut on this of trying to bring in, oh, this is a friend of the family.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in this lady that used to take care of my friend's uncle's dad.
Yeah, and I'm just going to tell you, if they don't have the liability protection, and not just liability, they need to be bonded because anybody who comes in your house can get some sort of control or influence. That's another thing. They can get
Very
influence over the person who's relying on their care. They're going to have access to property. They might have access to a little bit of financial stuff, depending on if you have kids there or this person's on their own, who's paying bills. I mean, opens the door to where, especially in today's world, you have got to pay attention because this mistake can cost you a fortune, or you could lose everything that your elderly family member has been working for to provide.
Yeah.
It's gone.
There's some real bad actors out there. If you do background checks on these people, man, some of these people come in and get them to sign a new will and get their logins to their bank. I mean, you've got to be careful. And I think that, and we're not going to talk about the financial stuff just yet, but there's a lot of issues there that need to be dealt with, and locking down their credit reports and their account with the IRS and Social Security. You need to get
So you get somebody who's coming in your house, you need to look around for what valuables, jewelry, cash. This is not just because you think they're going to steal it. It also, if I was an outside vendor, I wouldn't want that stuff accessible to me, because if they couldn't find the ring, they're going to blame me, the person who's in there, bathing and doing these things, and I don't want that. So
Mhm.
you're providing a good environment for your help who's coming in, but you're also about protecting your family members. So go through the house, look at the valuable things, look at the jewelry that they're wearing, expensive watches. Yeah, expensive watches, rings, those things may need to be replaced with things that look pretty but may not have any value, because there's just no reason to put that exposure out there. It's too easy. And like Brent said,
Well,
there's too many folks out there that will take advantage of this.
and here in Houston, they're following those people home from the grocery store, knocking them over the head. I mean, you gotta be careful, and I
Right.
think flashy jewelry is something you need to think about whether you should be wearing it or not. I think, especially as you get older, women wearing a big diamond ring going to the grocery store, boy, you're asking for it. I mean, just don't do it. And, get a safe, put that stuff away, put it in a safety deposit box. I
Safety
mean,
deposit box, anything that you can, or give it to your kids to hold off of the premise. However, but when you have people coming inside, which is happening all the time, you're gonna have to think about, and a lot of time, like we were talking about, that how happens many times when an event occurs, and you're trying to get out of the hospital, then you're trying to figure out where you're going to do, and then all of a sudden you've got this situation. So start planning it today, like we've said a
yeah, start
million times.
planning. You don't wanna make those decisions over a weekend. 'Cause your options are very limited. That's why you need to get out in front of these things, start talking to your people about it, and get a plan, make a plan. And I'll tell you, if you're gonna bring people in the home, now we were talking about temporary medical help. If you're gonna do it on a permanent basis, "Hey, we're gonna take care of dad at home, and we're gonna get caregivers to come in," you need to think about the insurance angle on that, because you've gotta have workers' comp, and you've gotta have an employment practices policy. And I know it sounds like overkill and crazy, but I'm telling you right now, those people come into your home and they fall or cut themselves or get hurt, they're coming after you.
Well,
And
and a lot of time they come in and there's going to be lifting involved. There's a back pull. They get hurt giving care. That's why you need to make sure on that certificate of insurance that company has workers' compensation.
yes, absolutely.
I got, and
But if
the
you're
other
gonna
thing,
do it, if you're gonna hire them, honest to gosh, you need to go form yourself a little LLC and set up, because you're going into the business of healthcare, whether you know it or not. If you're gonna take care of somebody in the home and you're gonna bring in a bunch of health caregivers, you're gonna have to have 5 or 6, by the way. People don't realize that till after a while. You're gonna be in the home healthcare business, so form a little LLC, get a work comp policy, get employment practices policy in case your mom or dad says something inappropriate to these caregivers and they get mad and sue you. Gotta take care of these things because it can go bad.
so in general, when this all happens, Brent, you really need to get the three folks together as soon as you can. You got to get your insurance agent. You got to get your attorney. And everybody's going, oh, this is getting more expensive. Then you got to get your accountant involved so you know how the finances are.
And
But
their
you get
broker, they've got a brokerage account. You need to meet that person and,
They do, and that's one of the things we're moving into now, our financial part of it. And no one wants to do it, but I'm going to tell you, no one wants to spend the money on it. But if you'll spend the money on it right up front or as soon as you can to get these things worked out, this will make your life long term so much better, because you got to have the attorney. Then you got to get, depending on the medical situation, how where it is or what it is and what your family's belief systems are. There's a lot of medical documents that may or may not need to be signed. A lot of, wills need to be
attorney.
reviewed, power of attorneys, things like that with the medical care, which again, we are not doctors or legal professions, but we've been through this as individuals to know that if I could have gone back with some of the stuff with my dad, I had to learn things on the fly, and you're going to do that. There's no way you're not going to do that. But
But if you'll
thinking,
if you'll take your parent or aunt or uncle to the lawyer and say, "Look," and let them tell them, "What do you want? What do
right.
you want your end of life decisions to be like?" While you can make those decisions consciously, get them to do it. That way you
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I don't wanna be I want a DNR. I don't want somebody to put me on a resuscitation device," or something like that. Make those decisions while you
Yeah.
can. Get it in writing.
Yeah, and just who can make medical decisions? Just
Absolutely.
answer the doctors if you're not capable. It's always just it's so fluid. I have to say, my dad did that and took care of all that stuff, so I could help
Sure.
administer his care, and he could worry. Well, he didn't even worry. He could just live and try to enjoy his life, and that's what you're trying to provide. You're not trying to provide an angle for you, the caregiver. You're trying to, in the long run, make it easier on your family member, which does make it easier on you to do the services that you're trying to do for this person.
I think a good way to ease into this is to tell your parents, look, hey, we need to go in and lock down your credit and your IRS account and your Social Security account because people are scamming it, So go in there, help them create a
Yeah,
login to the IRS, put a pin on it so it's locked. They can't file a false tax return. Same thing at Social Security. Go in and create an account with them, put a pin to lock it. Ideally, maybe use your email address for the return so that you can see. It's a start down that road. Go to the credit bureaus, lock their credit. They're not opening any more credit cards or getting any more loans. So they don't need to have that open anymore. Lock it down. That way someone can't defraud them or open a credit card in their name and all that. And it's just a good starting place to start helping them get a handle on it, and you start helping without them feeling like you're invading their privacy and
right.
whatnot. And let me tell you something, when you start helping them with their finances, you're going to be surprised to learn that people who are doing a damn good job taking care of their finances might not be. They
Oh,
might be missing bills. You know, my mom didn't pay her property taxes last year before I took over, and we had to pay some late fees and all that, but they're just not at some point, it starts to slip. It's too much for them, and you need to get in there sooner rather than later.
that's right. That's right. And you need to figure all that out because it's kind of like, you don't want it to where everybody knows mom's log into the bank besides mom. It's like
Right.
you gotta go in and do the protection things, and it would do the same thing what we tell you to do with kids. It's the same thing that when people either don't understand or it's getting a little over their head, you got to think ahead. So let's move now out of the home, Brett, because there's situations, and I've been in this, and other people have too, where living at home is not possible. It's for
Oh,
whatever mobility issues or memory issues or just whatever reasons, or just the desire of the individual to not want to take care of a home again. Typically, they move into some sort of assisted
senior living
living.
arrangement.
Yeah, there's either the facilities, which are like the apartments, or there's the homes that have been redone, and there's all levels of those, and we're not getting any of that. But what do we need to think about from a risk management standpoint for us as the caregiver and the protector? What do we do in those situations?
When they move, that's a big step, and obviously it's a very difficult time because nobody wants to do it. They feel like they're giving up their independence. And actually, though, some of these senior living facilities are super nice and it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a great place to go. You've got other people you can hang out with. It's fun. It's like going off to college in a way. You're kind of moving into a dorm with other people your own age that are in your same situation, and it can be fun. It can be a great thing. They've got great facilities and I mean, they've got gyms and hot tubs and saunas, and I'm like, wow, this place is pretty solid, man. But
You've got your spot already picked out, haven't you?
once you get to that place where you're gonna have to move them into a place like that, first of all, they gotta have policy there. They gotta have coverage for the things that they do take, and you gotta downsize. That's a whole 'nother thing. But let me tell you, you can hire people to help you with that process because the downsizing of their stuff is a very difficult thing, and you need to get some help with that. And don't take too much. Take just the things they need, but you gotta deal with it, and it's hard. But once you get to these places, they gotta have a contents policy, gotta have some liability on it. Hopefully, they don't take their car, but if they do, you gotta deal with that, and make sure that all these locations are named on their policies and that they're getting the right coverage for that place.
Yeah, and get that certificate of insurance from the assisted care
Right.
facility, especially if you're moving into one of these smaller things where a home has been redone and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. I had my grandmother in one of those, but you still have to really, and you need to vet those as much as the facilities. You got to get the same format, the same insurance, make sure everything's in place, and then get with your agent, get with your attorney to make sure then you get your stuff in line for this transition. because it's extremely important. And you know, you need to ask some questions about people being in your home or who's going to be working with your caregiver. Ask them about, you know, how long, tell us how long your people have been working here. How long have they been doing this? Start asking some questions about where's the line? What services do they do and not? You know, if somebody's cozying up to mom too much, you're like, oh, that's kind of an interesting thing. Are they supposed to be cozying up to mom or are they
Right.
supposed to be serving mom? These are
It's a fine line there, but you gotta be careful.
It is, and you need to be flat out, I'll just tell you, be flat out honest with these assisted care living facilities. If you have any inkling of concern, you have any question
I
that you
wanna say
think, "Oh,
something.
yeah, this is gonna be uncomfortable," say it.
Let
You
I'll
need to
tell
know
you
it.
I'll tell you another thing about when you move into an elder care facility or a senior living facility, you need to find out what exactly it is you're paying for. Like when you and let me tell you, these contracts, you've never seen a contract like this. You need to get your lawyer to look at it. But you need to make sure that it spells out what you're getting. Like at first, you don't know anything. You're like, oh, it's $7,000 a month. What am I getting for that?
That's
In
right.
other words, what is the level of care that I'm actually purchasing? Make sure they're spelling it out, not just saying, "Oh, we're gonna take care of your mom and dad." No, specifically, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and hold
How
them
many meals
accountable.
do they get? How much daily care? How often are they gonna come by? Because at first you don't know any of these things and you're just like a babe in the woods and you just sign you're like, "Okay, thanks." And I'm not saying these places are dishonest, but I'm just saying you need to make sure you understand what you're getting and what is actually gonna be done. Because in a lot of cases, you're just renting an expensive apartment and you're not really getting a lot of contracted care. They're just like, "Oh, yeah, your mom and dad, we'll take care of them." What does that mean? You need to
Yeah,
ask.
and you've gotta slow down and ask that question because you may be at the hospital and they're about to release mom and dad. They've fallen and broken a hip. Then they're gonna go to a rehab place and they're gonna be there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then after that, the question's gonna be,
Now what?
where are we going to go? And, you know, we can't answer that on risk radar, but if it's going to be that you're not going to be going home and you might be looking somewhere else, in that period of time, you need to be doing these things. If there's a chance mom or dad or uncle or aunt's not going to be able to go back home while they're in the physical therapy facility, while they're in the hospital, I know you'd like to be up there with them. You've got to start doing your research and you've got to start doing this stuff, unfortunately, quickly because
And
they're
you're
all
gonna
going
be
to
exhausted,
yeah, and
by the
you're gonna be
way.
tired, and they're all gonna tell you, we only have 1 room left."
The one
I'm sorry, there's
yeah,
always 1 room left. It's like, being on Expedia and 1 room left, and you have 30 seconds.
you
Take your
gotta shop
time.
around, dude. And you can hire people to help you with that too, by the way. There's consultants out there that will help you find a place. Honestly, you need the help because you don't know what in the world you're doing. And I'm not saying they're going to take advantage of you, but I'm just saying you need to know what the options are. Like in your given city, there's probably 5 or 6 places you can choose between. There's usually lots of them now. It's kind of an overbuilt space, honestly. And take a look. Let them kind of bid against what you're trying to, oh, well, I could,
Go to the facility. Go visit.
oh, yeah. And
Go
go
visit.
surprise visit. Don't just walk in and say, "Hey, can we go to the cafeteria?" Make sure people look happy and it's all good. I just think you can't be too careful and don't get tired and just, "Oh, man, I'm just gonna do it here. This is fine," because 'cause you're gonna be exhausted,
Yeah,
but you've
because
gotta
if you
take
go, "We're just
minutes.
gonna put mom somewhere, and if it doesn't work out, we'll move her." And I'm just gonna tell you from experience, you're not gonna that may have to happen, but you don't want to keep moving people around if you don't. It's difficult. I know with people with memory care issues, that was one of the issues we dealt with, environment, all those things. You just need to know that you try to do the best you can. You know, you can make changes, but slow
I didn't lose
down.
my mom and dad, but I'm gonna tell you it was super hard. It was super hard. Don't do the right thing at first. Look for hybrid care that you can get variable amounts of care. Try to get them in the right place to begin with. Because man, moving them, God bless. Oof, I don't
And
there's
if
a
you
bad
have to
word
spend
for
some money up front, you spend some money up front hiring some people to help you do this. You get your attorney, your account. I will promise you, years from after that, you will never miss that money. Never miss that money. It's the best thing you can do, but it's an honor to get to do it.
it
And
is, and it's good to do it right. When you do it right and they're happy, it's a win, man. It's fun to watch them move into this later stage of life and have a fun time. It's
yeah,
possible to do that.
it's a great thing. I think probably, Brent, the last thing, this is a risk management topic that, don't worry, folks, this isn't insurance. But if you're the caregiver, or you're in a family where somebody's been designated the caregiver, that caregiver needs caring. Being a caregiver and the responsibility is difficult. We have families where there's only one sibling, and it's on you. You may have multiple siblings and you have to do it by committee, or you have multiple siblings and everybody else is checked out and bailed and has left it on one person.
Gotta keep an eye on that person.
You have to keep your eye on that person, and as a caregiver, you have to take care of yourself, your health, your mental state. It is a difficult responsibility to take care of a elderly parent or family member, whatever. And you have a duty as another family member or as a friend. Some people who don't have anybody else, they need their friends to come along and watch and pay attention
Yeah, if
to
you see
help.
your friend struggling, you need to say something like, "Hey, man, you're drowning here. I don't know if you know it." I always equate it to like when you're in the airplane, they're doing the little thing before they take off. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help someone else. I mean, if you're dying, you gotta save yourself, or you can't help that person.
It's tragic because if it gets out of line, you can lose a caregiver before the person they're carrying departs this place. And that, I'm telling you, it's preventable, but you need to pay attention to people who you know as friends or family members who have this responsibility. You need to find a way to intervene with them, give them some breaks,
Yeah.
give them encouragement, and pull your weight
Yeah,
as a
if your
friend or
brother or
family
sister
member.
is doing all the legwork and taking care of it, you need to step in. You need to do your part. You need to say, "Hey, you need to take a vacation, and I'm gonna take care of them."
Right.
Let them off the hook. I mean, don't just ignore it because that person can be drowning and they won't say anything.
No, and sometimes if you're by yourself, sometimes you have to hire somebody from the outside, like we talked about, even if they're in an assisted living, somebody who can take a load off of you, and you still go through the risk management procedures we just did. Caregivers, take care of yourself.
I
It's a
had a
difficult situation.
one of my fraternity brothers' wives said something about, I don't know, it's 10 or 12 years. She's an only child like me, and she said something that at the time I thought was very selfish. And she goes, "Man, taking care of your parents takes a toll on you." And I was like, "Gosh, that's kind of, what do you mean? It's an honor to take care." I didn't say this to her, I was
Well,
saying it to
sure.
myself.
Right.
I was like, "Gosh, that's kind of a selfish thing to say." And I was really, but I didn't say anything to her, but I called her a couple of years ago and I was like, "Hey, I didn't say anything to you. I don't wanna apologize to you for thinking bad things about you. When you said that about taking care of your parents takes a toll on you," and I've you're right, it does, and you have to recognize the fact that it can be emotionally draining and challenging, and you have to prepare yourself for that because
You
it is
do.
difficult.
You do. Well, I hope that this episode, I hope this is maybe, there's a lot of probably people out through this episode who's been nodding their heads all day through it. And I will tell you what, and seriously, if we miss something or you think there's something that we'd like to touch on another episode or something in this area, we're going to cover a whole broad spectrum of areas through Risk Raiders. Put it in our comment section, or if you have some advice, some good advice for people, put it in our comment
Yeah.
section. We don't claim to know all of this. We're looking at it from a risk management standpoint because that's what risk raters do. There's so many different elements to taking care of a caregiver, and I just think it's been enlightening to me just to learn a lot of this stuff, Brent. I mean, I'm in it, I'm around it. That's the way life is right now.
And I tell you, it ca and be positive about it too.
Yeah.
You can do it the right way. You're gonna fall down and do it wrong at first, probably, but there is a right and a good way that they can be very, very happy where they are, and as long as you work hard and get some advice, you can get to the right solution that makes
Right.
everyone happy and that's not a burden. So, don't think of it as, "Oh my god, I'm gonna have to do this." Look at it as an opportunity to create a good situation because you can,
It
and it
is.
can
If
be
you
a
get the
win.
opportunity, plan, prepare, and then dive into it when you have to. It's going to be great. You can do it. When we find out and we'll have over the period of risk, we'll have some people on over a year or two every once in a while to kind of address this issue because it's going to be an ongoing issue in life. But I've enjoyed today's episode, Brent. I think it's
I
a
have
great one
too.
for us.
And now let's talk really quickly about our Red Raiders because it's been the craziest basketball season. And I know baseball's
I'm
starting.
holding them up right
Yeah,
now.
you got that dude, I can't take my eye off that John Wayne thing up
I-
there. But anyway,
I'm going to have to do this for you.
no, Yeah, I wish you hadn't have told me that, because now I'm thinking I'm just gonna drive up there and, like, sneak into your office and steal it. But
Uh,
so, what a we beat number 1 Arizona, but then we've struggled with some weaker teams. I mean, what in the heck? It's
it's
been the craziest.
basketball. It's the
And
Big 12.
my son's U of H guy, and, they've had some crazy roller coaster too, and it's like, "Damn, that's a weird
I'm gonna
season."
tell you, the Big 12 is just good.
They're loaded.
Yeah, they're loaded, and then, like, when you get in the situation with us, and a lot of people are like it, you lose a good player.
Hmm.
Right now, there's very few people that are full strength, but they're still super strong, and I mean, the basketball that's coming up, like, in the I mean, if you're a
Oh,
basketball
it's
fan, and I'm really optimistic about Tech, I mean, but
me
they're
too,
having to
me too.
get used to life without one of their players, right? So,
Man, losing that Toppin kid was wow.
yeah.
That guy, and I knew everyone knew he was good, but daggum, losing
Yeah.
him was tough.
I know,
But
but
they
what a
seem
great
to have made
story
the
it's gonna be
adjustment.
when everybody else comes up, man, and we could keep going. You know, it's exciting.
Yeah, they're a great team, and I think they're making the adjustment, and I'm like you, man, what a ride we're in for going
Oh,
into the tournament, and then the big show. I hope we get in the big show. I feel like we're gonna, and I'm just excited about it. I mean, I just it's gonna be a fun time of the year, and college basketball. I don't get quite as wound up about it as I do college football, but man,
no.
it's pretty exciting that tournament. It's March Madness is they don't call it that for nothing.
No, it's just and as I've gotten older, I enjoy the college basketball more, but I'll be honest with you, I'm a Tech guy. If they're not playing, I don't care. I don't care about the other teams.
No,
I mean, they're like, "Do you pull for the Big 12
monolithic in that
teams?" And I
way.
go, "Do I pull for the Big 12 teams? Yes, I do. I'm pulling for the Red Raiders."
Right.
No, I can't say I won't. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm just a
Said
homer.
the guy talking into a red and black microphone. He's like,
I
"Yeah,
know.
we
I
love
know.
other teams." No, we
It
don't.
freaked me out though, because we were playing Cincinnati this last game, and
Woo.
they're red and black, and I'm like, "How dare you?
How dare you come in with those colors? We own those colors.
Did they not bring their jerseys, and we gave them our practice jerseys?
Yeah.
What's going on?" Anyway, it was.
No, no, no. We're red and black.
I didn't know we were playing the Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say it.
All right.
Good times, everybody. Good
All
times.
right.
Well, this has
Like,
been a
you gotta
great
wrap it
show.
up.
Thank you, everybody, for
Have a
watching this
great,
episode of Risk Raiders.
yeah, great weekend, and have an enjoyable time, and we will see everyone next Friday. Let's make sure we get our guns up,
You got
and
them up there.
yeah, and be careful of things in your office that may disappear.
I
All right,
am.
everyone,
I
take
am
care. Have
changing
a
our
great one.
contents
See you
policy right
soon.
now.
Bye bye.